I welcome everyone to the GSIC Podcast for the APAC region. And today we are very pleased and privileged to have with us our very strategic member, Signify from Singapore. And the purpose of this broadcast is really threefold. One, to showcase the innovative solutions and technologies of our GSIC members. Two, to promote learning and sharing as a sporting community. And three, to really catalyze collaborations across the global sporting ecosystem. Today's episode features Signify, which is the world's leading lighting brands, where their products connect systems and services which will unlock the extraordinary potential of light to enhance well-being and performance, elevate experiences, and advance sustainability. Our focus will be on real industry challenges, not just product promotion. And we're very pleased and happy to have with us a very smiling and good-looking Tamil Mohanty, the EVP of Head of Offer Management, Emerging Markets Signify. We will start by maybe asking two fun fact questions to Tamil. First, what is one fun fact that everyone out there in the sports community must know about you?
Well, I'm into this industry for 29 years.
29 years. Oh my goodness. Awesome. Yeah.
And even today, I enjoy what I do.
Awesome.
Because what I do is basically try to get the best experience what we can for every event we support. So that's the fun part of it.
Okay, it's pretty official, but let me try another time. Yeah, but I love what you do. You're passionate for 29 years. Okay, Tim, what is one thing we cannot find on your social media? LinkedIn, your Facebook, Instagram. What is one thing we cannot find for fun?
I enjoy sports in my way. I'm a super biker.
Super biker, as in bicycles, right? Cycling.
No, super biker.
No, motorbike.
It's
Harley Davidson. Oh my God. Okay, okay.
And I do enjoy driving at a speed of 120 and 140 because that's what gives me that excitement of what I need to energize
Gentlemen,
myself.
Please watch out if you're on the roads and Tim is just behind you or beside you because he will be speeding past you at 120 kilometers per hour. Wonderful fun fact, Harley, I don't know what you own a bike, but a super biker who loves speeding, the breeze blowing into your hair. Absolutely. That's one fun fact that I'm sure a lot of us don't know about Timil. Okay, let's now go into the actual, more, I would say, technological part of the conversation. Today, we will focus on two sections, right? GSIC has a catalog of problem statements. From the lens of innovation, you must know what you're going to solve. If you don't know what you're going to solve, technology is actually quite useless. So we call this a series of problem statements. And there'll be two problem statements that we will focus on today, which are obviously going to bring in Signify into the conversation as to how they kind of promote or address the challenges of these problem statements. So let's begin with the first one on the topic of fan engagement. We know that the fan is king. The fan will always be king, and what better way than to start talking about the fans? So fan engagement today is not only about going to the games, it's also about the lighting, the visuals, the sound, the data, and storytelling with technology. And our problem statement is PS1515. It's called Innovating the Fan Engagement. Yeah, Innovating Fan Engagement. So, and the core challenge is to see how fan engagement is being recreated, reimagined through using audio-visual content, data, and context, all combined and consumed. So, Timmy, my first question to you, revolving around fan engagement, and of course, in your work with lighting and Signify, how can lighting, visuals, and sound support real-time storytelling both inside and outside the stadiums?
That's an interesting question because if you see today, watching a game is possible anywhere and everywhere.
Yep.
And watching in a TV where you get 8K with a nice music system, not getting out of your house, getting out of your couch, not facing the road traffic, that's quite possible. So unless otherwise you give it a substantial experience, it's very difficult to get a fan out of it. But at the same time, you have to ensure that it's not about just lighting up the pitch. It's about the whole experience of when they enter the venue. Even before entering the venue, the kind of excitement what they have, are you giving that pulse that something great is going to happen? So when you have to do that actually, before getting into the stadium, how have you wrapped the whole experience in totality, starting from the outside, what kind of message it communicates, what kind of excitement it creates before you come in. Then you get into, of course, being in a long queue, how smooth that experience is all about, finding your path, coming to your seat. So that's what happened before even getting to a place where you want to watch an event. Now the question is, once you get your place, before the game starts, before the event starts, how exactly the experience is all about. It's not about just waiting for the player to come in. So the kind of show, the kind of excitement, what you see, probably that is what something you will not be able to get it being at home. So we really need to bring that experience to a different level. And that's how you pull the fan out of the house, out of a theater, out of anywhere to the venue. And that's how you create that memorable day for the fan, which will again make him excited to come back.
I love it, right? So we know that we live in a highly hybrid world, and people are talking about avatars and AR and VR. But, at the bottom of the heart, we know that human beings are inherently social, right? We are intrinsically social. And to be able to bring the fan, especially the young generation fan, out of the living room, out of the house, to go into an on-site real experience, that is where I think you talk about the entire immersive fan experience, starting from the time you arrive at the venue, and you talk about how even from outside the stadium, you have the lighting, the facade, and as you enter, how lighting helps to direct you, and eventually, obviously, storytelling in the stadium. That's great. And we know that increasingly fan experience is not just about sports, it's about sportainment. Probably an overused word, but still a very relevant word. In this world of today, if you can't combine sport and entertainment and pop culture and fashion, I think it's very difficult to attract the young fan. So from that lens, what can smart venues and stadiums learn from the parallel sectors of concerts, live shows, and even the Taylor Swifts of the world?
That's a very interesting one. I think I would like to share a data which is out of PwC 2025.
Okay.
If you look into what is happening, Gen Zs, who are probably the most participant or who are the big fan, who are looking for that kind of experience, the data says 61% Gen Zs are basically not preferring to buy online. They want to experience in store. So for them, it's just not a buying, it's just not a convenience. They really want to get into that space to experience before they jump into it. And the data also kind of indicate Gen Zs, who are probably going to be the biggest guy who will be paying the tickets actually, they'll have a spending power of close to $12 trillion US.
12 trillion. Oh,
2030.
awesome. Good data. Yeah.
2030. Now, for them, it's not about an event. For them, it's a moment. It's an experience, all what they want to gain out of that event. Now, you have to understand the way they would like to experience is coming to a venue, of course, with their friends, of course, socializing. So the contribution of lighting, which starts, of course, before entering to the gate, to taking them to the seat, before you start the game even, how do they interact with each other? I think it's all about the experience. And more important thing is, it's not just watching a game, it's having a experience of that night. Now, the kind of show you can bring it, it's more about converting that arena to a stage. And the stage is not only performing a game, but it's probably giving an experience of a show, a stage, which is doing multiple things to bring the attention towards the game.
I think that's awesome. The fact that, whether you're watching a concert, you're watching a live show, everybody is actually yearning for that immersive experience, right? Everybody wants to be engaged and I think, and be able to toggle between offline and online, right? So I think this is one more question. So what is one or two things that Signify has learned or is able to draw parallels from the sportainment industry in enhancing fan engagement?
No, that's a quite interesting question. If you look back, we used to be the master of lighting. So of course you have to have a light quality which compliance with the broadcast standard, because without that your cameras are not going to capture picture. But what we have seen or what we have kind of observed all along, it's not about just lighting to the broadcasting standard. It's about creating that moment where the light doesn't only give visibility to the broadcasting camera, but it creates a show. Now it creates a stage. So playing with color, bringing that kind of orientation, what you want to do. For example, there is a activity that is players are coming into the event. It's just not giving a light. It's giving a path. It's giving a way for those critical moments. It navigates. So it creates that experience. It creates that excitement before even the event happened. I think that's the fun part we have seen. So if you look at what we have brought in from a lighting point of view, it's just not providing broadcasting standard, but these are now digital. You can play to the pulse of your fan. You can play with the color. You can play with the tone. You can play with the experience what you want to create.
Exactly. As you say, you engage with the five senses, right? So the ability of lighting to use in creative ways, whether it's on the facades, on the floor. I mean, we've been to some, how many times have we been to, where now many of the sport events are focusing on just one table, like table tennis.
True.
The athletes coming in and they use the lighting to enhance the stature, the visibility, and engagement, right? So I think what you're trying to say is that, and we know that traditionally, concerts all about lighting, right? It's all about playing with that lights and fan waving the lights, and I think sport has actually done that quite a lot, and I think using those not just in terms of broadcasting, so that the segment can go well on TV, but the real life experience. Awesome. Thank you for that. I think it's a very interesting, and I think we have finished kind of like covered the first part on fan engagement. And I think a quick summary, it is clear, that fan engagement starts from the very time you go into the venue, right? You step in, and it's both inside and outside. And you talk about using lighting to create the integrated experience, immersive experience. We also talk about, lighting being a very integral part of your entire experience, part of the five senses, right? How it enhances the and create beautiful memories, and the fans want to come again. And most importantly, we talk about how that in totality is able to actually still lure the fans back. And 61% of Gen Z actually want to be live, not just watching from the comfort of their couch. Bearing in mind, we know this is going to be a podcast. We're not going to stay here for the rest of our life, but let's move on to the next segment, which is obviously moving from fan engagement to stadium operations, right? Stadium operations. And we know that a lot of these operational issues, we don't see it. As a fan, we go there, we enjoy everything, but we don't see the hours of hard work, the seamless integration, this sometimes hours of troubleshooting and working with the various parts of the entire system to bring that show to the fan. So we are going to focus on the other problem statement, PS56, which is improving stadium operations, but again, enhancing fan experience through improving stadium operations. And the core challenge is stadium operations strongly affect fan experience. We know that, right? But they're often invisible and complex to modernize. So my first question to you regarding stadium operations and fan experiences, what kind of hidden people that we do not know, what kind of hidden stadium operations issues actually affect fans the most?
Well, if you go one step deeper, I think the most important part is fans are there for a memorable day or evening, you can call it.
Yeah.
Imagine some of the light doesn't perform. Imagine each set of light, call it the functional light, which is on the pitch, giving the broadcasting standard, and the facade lighting and the visible lighting, they don't sync up well.
Yeah.
Or they do not work for certain moment of time. With such a crowd, we talk about 40,000, we talk about 50,000, the amount of chaos it can create.
Yeah.
So from a safety point of view, this play a big role again. And fortunately, if you look into the lighting, I think we are there in every corner of the location, whether entry point, or you can talk about the sitting areas or the pathways, the concourse, everywhere we are there, including the pitch lighting. Now, the infrastructure is already there.
Yep.
So syncing them up to ensure that they talk to each other. One. Second thing, we talk about predictive maintenance. Now, imagine the lights are on for a certain amount of time. Somebody will fail at some point of time. Imagine during an event, some portion fails. Imagine the experience they will get, because either you win them or you lose them. Now, you have to ensure you have a seamless operation. So from a maintenance point of view, if you have a predicting maintenance, you can save almost 70 to 75% of surprising failure. That's the data what we have. And you can save 20 to 25% of maintenance cost, because you do that well in advance before they hit you and spoil your fans.
I need to hold you there, because these are very interesting stats. I want to repeat again for the audience. So we talk about two major operational issues actually you don't see. One is syncing and integration. The other one is what you call predicting maintenance. Can you repeat the stats again? If we do the predicting maintenance well, how much would that translate into saving costs?
Cost-wise, 20 to 25%. You can save
22 to
cost.
25% in cost by just making sure that you have predictive maintenance. What was the other stats that you talk about? The 70%.
And that is basically 70 to 75% you can reduce from visualizing when what will fail. So I talk about 2 data points.
Yep.
One is about how much of cost you can save. 7 is about how can you prepare, and you can save 70 to 75% of your operational planning, when to replace or keep a team ready to replace them. That you can do in advance.
I get it. So audience hear it. By doing good predictive maintenance, you can save about 72 to 75% of planning costs, and actual cost savings, right, when you're operating is about 20 to 25%. Huge data and amazing that. So this is awesome. Maybe we move to the next question. So in the sense that we understand that, as you said, syncing and integration of various systems and predictive maintenance is important. How can the lighting and integration into the smart venue become really highly effective operational tools to the extent that it's a gold standard? How can Signify enable a venue operator, a rights holder, to make sure that lighting and that venue is integrated to become world class?
That's a quite interesting one. If I reflect back, we provide almost all lighting solution which is everywhere. So we have we have brand who are taking care of stage lighting. We have now a specific brand. I will not take a name because that I want to just stay with the functions more. They take care of the architectural lighting, and then we have the highest quality broadcasting set of lighting, and we do have light which take care of the places where your fans are sitting, including the inside. Now lightings are everywhere, and the biggest strength what we carry, we have solution in-house, and they can talk to each other. So now you can imagine all the functions what is supported by different set of light can talk to each other, can sync up with each other. I think that's the biggest thing what you can bring to reduce the maintenance part of it.
I love it. Signify provides an integrated end-to-end solutions to anyone, right? Whether it's stage lighting, whether it's infrastructure lighting, whether it's even broadcast lighting. So I think in this world where time is cost, where time is efficiency, or where time actually one moment can redefine your entire experience. I think the fact that Signify being such a world-class established lighting solutions all over the world, you are able to provide that one integrated seamless solution in all the 3 key areas: stage, infrastructure, and broadcast. Lovely. I never knew that operations issue can be quite interesting. I always thought that, oh my goodness, if you're going to talk about operations, maybe the audience will fall asleep, but I don't think they did, because you gave 2 wonderful data points. 72% savings in planning, 22% savings actual costs, and the kind of solutions that you provide. Mindful of the time, perhaps we're going to jump into the last section. And we've talked about fan engagement. We've talked about stadium operations and what are the important issues that people don't realize and don't see. Thirdly, I think we can never escape, or we can never not talk about sustainability. And I know that Signify has a great emphasis on sustainability, right? So could you talk us through how can stadiums still improve the fan experience while reducing the carbon footprint? Is there a trade-off, or can it be done in parallel and complementary?
Well, if you see everything what we develop, because I think if you look back to our history, we are with 135 years of experience what we carry with us. And everything what we develop, our base thinking stay with sustainability. So the product what we develop, if you get into the detail of the product, we go to the highest standard of providing the broadcast standard, at the same time, the highest level of energy efficiency.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we support the sustainability across the offering what we have, whether it is architectural lighting, functional lighting, structural lighting, and the pitch lighting or stage lighting.
So in other words, there need not be a trade-off, right? You can still...
There is absolutely no trade-off.
Yeah, you can still have the most immersive, awesome, memorable fan experience and still being able to be sustainable. Maybe share with us, for some of the venue operators out there, the rights holders, in events people who always think that being sustainable means very costly, right? They always think that it's going to be extra layer of cost. What will you say to them to convince them that no, you can actually do it together?
Well, that's a very interesting way to look into it.
Yeah.
Because fundamentally, what a venue need, probably it need 365 days of engagement.
Yeah.
Now, if you have the complete set of light, which are like all digital, and today it's a sports event, day after tomorrow, it's a concert.
Yeah.
And probably next day is a big event where some functions are happening. Now you can convert these scenarios with no time, probably just pressing a switch, what you want to convert. Now, one is about the sustainability story. Second is about when you get things sync up to each other, converting that whole, I would put it, the whole stage prepared for different functionality is no more a challenging task. Given we are also investing big time in AI to control and to create that moment or memorable moment you can talk about.
Yeah, so I think the interesting, so to all venue operators out there, right? So the events organizers, right? Do to take note. Sustainability is not a compromise. It should be part of the entire planning. And in this age, fans demand that we are sustainable, right? They will want to know, are you adopting sustainable practices? And we just heard from Signify that just through proper syncing and integration across all your lighting platforms, whether it's stage versus broadcast, versus infrastructure, versus functional, just a simple of using AI algorithm switching, you can actually achieve both goals. Awesome. Maybe one more point. If we imagine the stadium in the next probably 10 years time, right? What truly makes a smart venue future ready? Maybe three key points, maybe, yeah, or one or two.
Well, I think it's an interesting data point. Again, if you talk about a Gen Z, what they wish today becomes the norm tomorrow. So you really have to make the whole venue so future-proof that if you want to change, if you want to adapt, it can be incorporated seamlessly. And that's what comes, whatever we develop. It's so AI enabled, it's so future-proof enabled that whatever may be the wish, what you can think of, it can be executed to a very high extent.
And I love that quote. I'm writing it down, right? What does Gen Z wish today? It will be the norm for tomorrow. I love that quote. And maybe please, if I quote that, I will definitely acknowledge you. And all it means, Tamil, is that when Signify creates your solutions, you already think of the future, right? And whatever that you're doing is easily adaptable and flexible. So there's no such thing as I'm planning for now, and therefore in 5 years' time, I'm not ready. I think your mindset is that we are always planning for the future. Whatever AI technology we're using, algorithms, platforms, and tools, they are all easily, readily adjusted and calibrated for the future.
Absolutely. Because for us today, being like the best lighting company, I will call it, or the biggest lighting company, lighting is a hygiene factor for us. It's all about experience. It's all about creating experience. So we want to create every bit of innovation, keeping in mind the experience, what probably Gen Z can think today or can wish tomorrow. So we keep it absolutely flexible. And LEDs, AIs, machine learning, I think they support to a very high extent.
Yeah, and we know that AI now is agentic AI. They can learn fast. They can even make decisions for us. Just making sure that we take care of the ethics of that part, and we still maintain that decision making. Awesome. Now the last maybe 2 minutes, 1 minute. This is called the rapid fire segment. I'm going to ask you 3 quick questions. It's for fun, just to close it up in a fun way, and just talk about what it comes to your mind spontaneously, right? So imagine, Tamil, I have a gun pointing at you. So the first question, maybe I should have a gun next time in my next podcast. The first question. One thing that smart venues should stop doing when designing fan experiences. Stop doing.
I think the most important part is do not buy things in silos. Do not use them like a plumbing stuff kind of thing that I buy pitch lighting separately, facade separately, and this infrastructure separately. Because the moment you go in silos, the integration is impossible.
Awesome.
The future proof is gone.
I'm going to make it short because it's rapid fire, right? So one thing that people sitting out there should stop doing when designing fine experiences. Do not act in silo. Do not make your decisions in silo, right? It has to be integrated. Otherwise, it will cost you more maybe in the longer term.
Sure.
Next question. One most overlooked factor that will define the future-ready smart venue.
Every experience has a shelf life. So design something which is upgradable, updatable, and service-friendly.
Okay, so whatever the cost is, don't be penny wise, pound foolish. Look at things that are adjustable, flexible for the future, right? Last question. One misconception about smart venues. Misconception.
Smart, I think most people think smart means you have more screens, more sensors, more components visible. But the real, or I would call it the best smart venue is you do not notice any of them, but you get the experience. You get the feel of the benefit, what you get out of it. I think that's the misconception what we carry.
So it's called the invisible magic, right? It's an invisible hand on the economy, Adam Smith, right? So it's basically, people think that to be a smart venue, you need to put in more money, buy more sensors, buy more platforms and from everywhere and not integrated. But your point is that if everything is integrated, it's invisible, right? It's actually one whole beautiful act, one whole beautiful symphony with a different lighting provided by Signify. Thank you, Tamil, for joining us today. It's been awesome. I think we did, hopefully our conversation is keeping it lighthearted. So some key takeaways, we talk about 3 things. We talk about applications of innovations to lighting in fan engagement. And one key insight has to be immersive, it has to be hybrid. It starts from the moment you enter the venue. 2, we talk about operations, that we don't see, and you give a huge and key insight about integration. Very important to integrate systems from stage to infrastructure to functional to broadcast. And the integration will actually save you long-term costs than you ever would imagine. And thirdly, we talk about sustainability. Again, the fact that it is not expensive. You can be both sustainable and cost efficient and making revenue as long as you start planning and make sure that things are integrated and future ready for the next 5 to 10 years. Thank you, Tamil, for that lovely conversation. I learned a lot. Thank you, everyone, for watching GSIC Podcast. I'm sure there'll be much more exciting stuff to come. Thank you, Tamil. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you for having me. Good talk. Thanks.
Thank you.